Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing a NATASHA NOEMI inspired makeup look, makeup tutorial. Then basically doing sort of a inspired look from this picture, which is from her Instagram. I'll leave her Instagram link down below. It's just NATASHA_NOEMI, spelled N-O-E-M-I. She's a really amazing artist and really inspirational for makeup artists. I've seen lots of people do sort of recreations of her work before. But this took me a really long time, so I really hope you enjoyed this makeup tutorial. And I'm going to be moving my straps around a lot trying to do all this, so if you see me fiddling with them, sorry if it's a bit annoying, but you know, having to move them down to do all this detail and stuff. So there we go. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so I've already filled in my brows and I've done them quite lightly and slightly thinner than I usually would. Yeah, because in the picture they're quite thin. I'm just going to start off with a base of foundation. I'm going to use the L'Oreal Spackle Tinted Under Makeup Primer, and I'm going to use this all over my face and down the neck a little bit as well, because I'm probably not going to put foundation all the way down here, but I just want to have some sort of a base. I'm just going to go ahead and apply that on my face and down my neck. And then foundation, I'm going to take the Lancôme Teint Idole Ultra Wear in the lightest shade. I'm going to mix in a little bit of the Freedom White Concealer, which just looks like that. And just to create sort of quite a pale base. I want this to be quite a sort of matte base, because then that's usually easier to sort of paint on top of, rather than if it's you know, a super sort of glowy foundation. I'm just going to mix these together and then apply them. I'm then just going to use Tarte Shape Tape in Fair Neutral to conceal some areas and prime the eyes. I don't want to use too much of this because we've sort of paled the skin down a little bit, and this is not quite as light as the base. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this, mostly as eye primer and just underneath the eyes, and I'm just going to blend it out on my Real Techniques sponge for a bit of a change from a beauty blender. I'm just going to quickly powder my face with the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour matte powder in the shade Warm Vanilla, because this is a nice light colour. I don't really want to use a loose powder because there's going to be enough of a bit of, I'm probably going to make a bit of a mess to begin with. So just use a pressed powder and powder where we've applied the foundation and the concealer, and I'm going to put a little bit on my chest and neck as well, because there's some stuff going on down there too, and I want it to be sort of a nice base. I don't want to put on too much makeup on my chest and stuff, just because I don't, but I'm just going to powder. Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to start mapping out the basic shapes and the veins and the heart on the chest. I'm going to use this Maybelline Colour Sensational lip liner in the shade 140 Intense Pink, because I just think it's going to be a good starting colour, and you know, it's easier to use than trying to go straight in with paint or anything. So I'm going to start fleshing out the colours and the heart on the bottom and some of the veins. It's not going to be insanely exactly the same because, you know, it's hard, but I'm going to try my best, and I'm just going to start blocking in some of the bigger shapes and veins. Okay, so I've sort of mapped most of the face out, and the face of this, you only see the very front, whereas obviously I've got sides to my face, so you can always add a little bit extra in if you were going to do this for, I don't know, if you were going to wear this out anywhere. I'm just trying to follow the basic shapes. Again, it's not going to look exactly the same, but I'm just going to do my best. And I'm going to move on to the body in a second. There's not loads under here or on the very top of the neck. There's more sort of shading there, which I'll go and do later. And then I'm going to start the neck piece from about here, and then the heart sort of about around here. It's not too low down. So I've just drawn the like basic heart shape. It's not like exactly like a perfect heart on here, so I've tried to not make it too like, you know, symmetrical. I'm just drawing the thicker lines that are coming off of it, and you want to start off with those because it's easier to sort of like fade out and do the thinner lines. Okay, so that's mostly all of the like bigger lines. Some of them I'm going to probably block in with more like paint and shadows because they're lighter and I don't want to make them like too dark because I want there to be like some dimension to it. But yeah, just block in like the darker shapes, and I'm going to thicken up some of these lines just a little bit, the ones that are coming straight off of the heart, because those are the ones that are quite thick, and especially like where they connect, like around here. I'm just going to like thicken them up a little bit and like taper them into the heart and into each other. And because like most lip liners are sort of like, you know, like waxy based pencils, like you don't want to fill in too much with this because it kind of can be a bit hard to go over with water paints. So just bear that in mind. Like I wouldn't, you know, do like too much like shading with this. This is really just to get like the basic shape. And like, yeah, I'm not going to fill in this main heart because I'll do that with paint later on. Okay, I'm going to start off doing some of the shadows now, just lightly because obviously I don't want to cover up the lines too much. And I'm going to be using Colourpop, Fair Play, oh, wrong way around, Fair Play, Coloured Raine Moments, I don't know why I'm holding them all up the wrong way around, and Colourpop Soft Core. And I'm going to start sort of like blending these onto some of the areas and start like, I'm going to fill this in. And after that I'm going to go and like redefine the lines. I'm going to start off with like under the neck here because it's sort of just like darkened and shadowed there. There's not too many lines like just right under here. So I'm going to just start off with soft core and I'm going to start building the colours up. Oh, I've also got my Modern Renaissance palette as well because there's a lot of shades in there which will be perfect. Okay, so I've put on the two Colourpop shades and now just taking Moments from Coloured Raine for the very edges because that's where the shading is sort of darkest. And you kind of want to do this like how you do your eyeshadow, you know, sort of like build up the colours, go from light to dark, just because it's very like soft and blended, which is how, you know, you most of the time you want your eyeshadow to be. I'm just going to start filling in the heart with those same eyeshadows. Okay, so there's the heart filled in. I'm just mixing again together those three Colourpop shades. I'm just going to start like feathering on shadows in some of the places that look a little bit more like blurred out. So any of the fainter lines, I'm just going in with shadow to draw those in because I want them to be like a little bit like softer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the eye look, which is mostly just sort of like these same old berry shades, and it comes down quite far to about like here. So I'm just going to like draw, like sort of like plot in the shape a little bit. I'm just using those same like Colourpop shades. I'm just going to sort of like plot in how far down I want it to come. To about here, so if you like follow your like lower lid, and then just below that, that's about down to where it comes to. And then it is sort of like smoked out. So I'm starting with the bottom first, just because I think that's going to be easier because the top shadow is mostly just like the lid and the crease. The bottom shadow is a bit longer and comes down further. I'm just using a Real Techniques base shadow brush. Yep, I'm just going to go into my Modern Renaissance now and just start really sort of packing the colour on. And then probably going with a smaller brush on the lower lid. And I'm just mixing between Love Letter and Venetian Red, because that's sort of like the perfect tone, like those two mixed together. And there's not really any like shimmer to this look. You could add some if you wanted to, but it's mostly sort of like just a big sort of blown out berry colour. So I'm just sort of fluffing that on. The good thing about these shadows is they blend super easy, so even though you haven't used like a transition and you're not, you know, using a light colour to start off with, it's fine because these blend really easy. I'm just going back into Colourpop Fair Play, which is that hot pink colour, because the bottom is a little bit brighter. I just want to brighten up a little bit. I'm going to come back to the eyes later and do like eyeliner and probably put on some lashes, but for now I'm probably going to start the sort of line work now. Okay, so I've got my Kryolan Aqua colours here, which just look like that. I'm sure you're familiar with them. I'm just going to mix the red and the pink together. I'm going to start plotting in some of the lines a bit darker now that we've put some of the shadows on. And I'm going to sort of mix between doing that and putting a bit of shadow on if I think, you know, it's missing somewhere. That's the kind of thing with a look like this, is it's a bit of, you know, trial and error and sort of adding, taking away. Just trying to get it to look as authentic as possible. But yeah, I'm going to start off using the lines. I'm going to take this unicorn brushes, it's just their like thin angle brush. When you're creating like thinner lines, you want to use a little bit less, a little bit more water, because that helps it to be a bit less thick, and then you're going to get a thinner consistency and then more of a sheer thin line. Yeah, so this is the part that's really time consuming, because I'm going back over pretty much every line with the paint. I'm using just a mix of blue and red as well for like the more like purpley toned areas. You're not going to get like a super bright purple with aqua colours unless you like buy one like individually that's purple. But this particular colour works well for this look because it's more of like a muted smoky purple, which is kind of what we're going for anyway. I just noticed that area there was starting to look a bit messy, so I've sort of rinsed it off a little bit, and I'm going to sort of redo it closer to the actual picture. That's better. And now just moving on to the face, and again I'm using a lot of the like same techniques that I was mentioning. I'm creating some really thin lines, just using the very edge of this brush. And I'm just going back in around the forehead area because that bit got a little bit neglected. I'm going to put some shadow on this bit here in a second because there's a bit of like smokiness there. But I'm just going to go and define the lines around the brows. And I'm just dotting between that sort of purple colour and the red. Now while that's dry, I'm going to start working on like the nose area because there's like some shading and like sort of a structure to it. So it's sort of like dark where the nostrils are. So I'm just going to grab an eyeliner and probably sort of like darken up the area just a tiny bit, and then I'm going to use some shadows to sort of contour it. Okay, yeah, so I've just grabbed the Smashbox Always On Gel Liner in Fishnet. I'll probably tighten my eyes while I'm here as well. And yeah, just start defining the eye area and some of the like contour areas. Don't mind me, I've just pulled down my straps and I'm just extending some of the veins a little bit out because they were a little bit too like clustered together. So I'm just sort of extending them out and really feathering them out to like a very light colour. Yeah, so I took a break from the nose thing. I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to take Colourpop Soft Core on this Smashbox fluffy brush, and I'm just going to sort of drag that down the side and sort of under, and I'm just going to focus this down the left side because that's the way it is in the picture. You could do both sides if you wanted to, but I think it sort of looks a bit better just doing one side because it's just a bit more defined that way. And the nostrils are also like defined in the picture, so I'm just going to shade around those a little bit as well. I'm not going to actually use the black eyeliner for the nostrils just because we've already got the darkness from sort of shading down the bottom here, and I think that looks more accurate anyway. I'm also just going to shade underneath the lip. I've just sort of altered this bit up here on the forehead just because it wasn't looking right, so I've sort of tried to get a bit closer to the actual shape. Okay, I'm going to move on to the lips now, which is going to be kind of difficult because it's almost like lipstick, but there's not like, there's like lip lines and it's shaded around the centre, and then there's like a vein on this side of the lip, but then it's sort of pale on the other side. So I'm going to try and start off with like a base of an ombre, so I'm going to use this same lip liner just to start off with, and then I'll do like an ombre lip with that white concealer, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw the veins in after with the paint. So I've got this like base ombre lip, which is a bit light, it looks a bit crazy, but I'm going to darken it up, and I'm just going to start by filling in the corners again. I'm going to darken up the very centre of the lips a little bit with this black liner. These lips are so hard to do, and also they've gone a very strange colour. I'm going to go in with the paint, and I'm going to just use a mix of the red and purple colours to try and get the sort of look of the veins on there, which is going to be kind of hard, but we're going to try. Okay, so I think that's about as close as we're going to get the lips because they're really hard to do. I managed to get like one or two like individual veins on here, but it's kind of difficult, so I'm just going to go ahead and do some quick wing liner, and I'll be right back. And now I'm just going to create like a point on the centre part of the like tear duct area, just to sort of like elongate the eye, because there's definitely that look to it in the picture. I'm just doing some like sort of finishing touches to the veins with like a dark purple with a tiny little dot of black in it, just to redefine. I've sort of changed this area a bit because it wasn't looking right. I'm just bringing these veins like down so you can't really see them, like the end of them from the front, and just, you know, going over any spots that might look a bit messy, redefining things. I'm just defining the heart with some last sort of shadows. I'm using the eyeliner for this just because it's really dark on the very edge, and then I'm just going to highlight with a white like cream liner. Okay, I'm just going to put on some mascara and I'll be right back. I'm just quickly highlighting the nose to match with the picture. Okay, and we are done with this makeup look. You'll forgive me if I don't want to put on lashes, but I think I've been through enough. I don't even know what time I started filming this. I don't know how long it's been. I'll find out and tell you how long it takes. I can't believe how like green my eyes look as all the like reddy pink tones around them. But overall, I'm so pleased with how this turned out. You should definitely check out NATASHA NOEMI. Her art is just like amazing. I really want to do some more art inspired makeup tutorials and makeup looks. I've got a couple like sort of like halfway planned. I'm just trying to figure out how exactly to do them, but I really hope you enjoyed this makeup tutorial because I spent a long time doing it. If you've got any comments or suggestions, just leave them in the comments down below, and please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.